Hi
Hi,
everyone.
welcome back. So today we have conversation
Number 12.
number 12. And today we're going to talk about the Mothman. Um, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but I've always been fascinated by Mothman. I did see the movie. You saw it
Yeah, I
too.
saw the movie.
We saw the movie, and I personally thought it was awesome. Like, it was very intriguing and scary and interesting. Um,
Yeah.
so
I feel like it had enough mystery, but it was also like,
a thriller.
yeah.
Yeah. So I really liked it, and so today we're gonna talk a little bit about what it is and the phenomenon and what's going on, what happened. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. So, it all started in a small town in West Virginia that goes by the name of
Point Pleasant.
Point Pleasant. It's not very populated. I think there's a few thousand people, I want to say. It's not a big city. Um, but they do have a bridge in the Ohio River that connects to Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And so what was going on was that this happened November of 15th of 1966 when these two couples were driving down
Lover's Lane.
Lover's Lane, and I guess it's like a thing they used to do back then, and they would
in
just
the 60s.
yeah, in the 60s, like cruise.
Like drive-in movie, right? Like drive-in
Yeah,
movies.
everything was drive stuff.
Yeah. You gotta show off the car, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then you would park and make out and stuff. Yeah. So these two couples were driving around, and um, as they were driving, they noticed on the side of the road a big creature or a big being. They said it looked like a person. Um, and I guess they drove through, and then as they got closer, they saw that this thing had big red eyes. Um, and I guess next to him was this dead dog. So as soon as they passed by, they were like, "Oh, what is that?"
Yeah.
They freaked out, and all of a sudden, the creature like spread its wings, and it started flying after them. Um, which was crazy because they said that they took off. Like the guy that was driving, he started driving really fast to the point where he got to like 100 miles per hour
right?
almost, and this thing was like just keeping up with him. Like he was flying above them, and one of the girls that was in the back seat, she said that she heard that the wings would like flap and like it would hit the sides of the car.
Dang.
So that just goes to tell you that the wings were long.
And that he was fast.
Yeah, he was fast. And he had red eyes. And they almost a lot like the people that did see him said that his eyes were like electrical red. So they were like glowing red eyes. Um, but so when they started driving, they took off and they ended up stopping at their local police station to when they explained what was happening to the police officers. So they sent a couple of like patrol cars to go investigate, which the sighting that they had was at a TNT plant. And so this plant was abandoned, but it was somewhere where during the war they would make ammo.
Okay.
So, yeah. And so they had this sighting, and then so the police, of course they went out and investigated. They didn't find anything. The strange thing was I found this story that an hour before the couples saw or had their encounter, there was another family that lived about 96 miles from Point Pleasant, and they were I guess it was a husband and his son were sitting in the living room watching television. It was like around 10 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that they had a German Shepherd dog, and that this dog started acting crazy. Like, he started barking, and he was very, like, anxious and scared, but, you know, he was just acting strange. And he said that the TV started to, like, fuzz a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So they said that it went to, like, white noise.
So it was staticky?
Yeah, it was like staticky. So they said that, I guess, the dog, like, after that happened, the dog continued to bark. And then, so the guy, the dad, Mr., what was his name? I wrote it somewhere. Parkage.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Parkage. So he went outside with the dog, and then the dogs took off to the barn. He said that once he gets to the barn, he has his flashlight, and he says that he starts lighting it up around the barn. And then he says he notices this creature, like, on top of the barn. He said that he saw his eyes, and they were like red electrical lights. That's what they look like.
Yeah.
And so he said that the way he described it was that he was about 6.5, 7 feet tall, and the wingspan was about 10 feet wide. So that's a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it is. So that kind of coincides a little bit, because this happened an hour before the couples saw the dog. So the name of the dog, his name was Bandit.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Partridge went back inside the house, and then, the next day they were like, oh, well, where's the dog? We haven't seen the dog. And he said, oh, well, the last time we saw him was at the barn where we saw that thing.
Yeah.
So they go over to the barn, and they just see his prints around, like they were going in a circle, but they didn't lead away. Like, the paw prints were just there. Like,
wow.
in a little circle, like he just was picked up almost.
Yeah.
And so that kind of, brings me back to the couples that were driving down Lover's Lane, and they saw the creature standing next to a dead German Shepherd. So, put 2 and 2 together, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But I feel like, to be clear, so that, everyone knows what's going on, they're basically seeing, it's like reports of a winged creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what's going on. That appears to, like, local residents here at Point Pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so he looks like a man, but with large wings, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay, just wanted.
And yeah, so
he's really tall, right?
He's really tall, and people around the town started kind of like saying, oh, having sightings, and this all happened in 1966. So within a year, people would have different sightings here and there. There was another story of a woman that she was driving, or she got to her friend's house, and she said that that she next to the driveway, she saw the creature. She saw a creature with, that was just there looking at her with these red eyes, and she had her newborn baby. I don't know if she was new, but she was an infant though. And so it's one of the most like that one, and the one with the couples, it's
more popular,
yeah. That she, like, grabbed her baby, and she was so terrified, like, she started to run, but she dropped the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And so she kind of tripped trying to pick up the baby. And then so as soon as she, like, picked up the baby, she ran inside the house and closed the door. And then when I guess they were kind of all quiet in there trying to figure out what they just saw. And I guess the popularity of it is that it would peer through the windows, like, trying to see, why you guys trying to hide from me?
Heck no, homie.
Yeah, so that's another popular story. But throughout the year, there continued to be sightings. People would, report them to the police. A lot of them were kind of afraid, in a way, to talk about it, because they thought that people would think they would be crazy, or ridicule their stories, or just make it seem like, you're weird.
Yeah.
But eventually it came out in the papers, in their local papers, and they named him the Mothman. So at first they named him, they would call it like the winged creature. Mm-hmm. but now, they officially gave him the Mothman name because of the Batman comic book.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So that's how he got the name. So at the same time that these people were seeing Mothman, there was a lot of UFO sightings. People would, I guess, report that they would see these flying silver discs. I mean, could it be related? Maybe not, maybe. But this journalist, I guess he said that he had an encounter. He would get, not only did, well, he's the one that had the encounter, so I'm getting confused. But so his name is John Keel. He's a journalist, and he started investigating the Mothman. He then claimed to have received phone calls of this metallic voice that would talk to him and kind of give him like these prophecies of things that were going to happen to him or happen to people or just happen. And so they would happen, but one of the, and people would say, oh, maybe it's not real. Maybe it was somebody like hosting him, or
like a prank or something.
A prank, yeah. But the weird thing was that one of the calls, he had been looking for his watch. And when he received the call, the voice told him, oh, your watch is in your closet in a certain box. And he certainly goes in there and finds the watch.
What the heck?
So it's really weird, like almost like mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Like it can telepathically know what you're thinking, or I don't know, it's pretty creepy.
That gives chills.
Yeah. And then like the voice was weird, and then sometimes the voice would pretend to be somebody that he knew.
Oh, heck.
Yeah, and it would talk in his tone, but sometimes it wouldn't sound like the person. And then he would call the person back and be like, hey, you just called me. And the person would be like, no, I didn't. That wasn't me. So it was just, really odd stuff happening that there was really no explanation for. Yeah. But I do want to talk about this weird UFO encounter that happened within the town too, which was very interesting. I don't know if it has anything to do with Mothman, but it was still interesting nevertheless. So, Whitten Woodrow was the name of one of the guys that would have encounters. But he had a specific encounter with a UFO. So he was driving home one night. He's like a salesman. He used to sell like sewing machines.
Okay.
So he had like a bunch of stuff in his truck, and he was driving back home, and he says that it looked like he's ahead of, like in front of him, he saw this something coming towards him. He said he thought it was a truck or another vehicle. But he said that as it got closer, it stopped right in front of him, and then he noticed it was a craft, like a silver shaped circular craft, like alien craft. And he said that it stopped in front of him, and a man walked out of it. And he said it was like your typical human being. It looked like your typical human being. And he was wearing like a black robe. And so he said that he walked out and he looked at him, like he got to the side of his car and he had like his windows up and everything. He's like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
But he said that he looked at him and then he just told him, like, I mean you no harm. I just want to ask you some questions. And then he said, you can talk or you can think. I can understand you either way. So that...
What the heck?
Yeah, dude. Like...
Hey, you say that in your head, what the heck? And he's going to understand that?
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Because I guess it was like a telepathic being. So he was able to read his mind. But he said that he asked him a few questions. I know people want to know what the questions were.
Yeah.
But so he asked, one of the questions he asked was, what do you call that? And he pointed at the lights in the city. And he said, he asked him, what do you call that? And he said, oh, it's a town.
Yeah.
And then I think they call him Ingrid Cold. I don't know how they got that name, but that's the name of the being that walked out of the spacecraft. And they said Ingrid Cold said, oh, well, where I'm from, we call it a gathering.
What the heck?
Like, I don't know. And so then the other question he asked was, so what do you do? And then Mr. Woodrow, yeah, he said, well, I'm a salesman. And then he asked him, well, what do you do? And then Mr. Cold said, I'm a searcher.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. What is he searching for?
Heck no. I wouldn't want to find out.
Yeah, but he then told them, okay, thank you for your time, and we'll be seeing you again. And he leaves. He gets back in the craft, like the craft flies back, and then
What the heck? You know what it sounds like to me? Like, he's like, I'm gonna just come down to this place and, like, just ask some information.
But he's a searcher, though. What is he searching for?
For some answers.
Answers to what?
He was like, hey, you. Let me ask you, hey, what is this?
But
what
he
is this
said,
called?
because he said that he rolled his window down and that the guy just, looked at him. And he said, in an instant, he just read my mind. Like, he knew what I was thinking. He knew everything about me.
But I think maybe that's why that, like, communication went down so smoothly, because he was able to read his mind. He's like, okay, yeah, I understand how you're feeling. Let me just tell you this.
But the other thing was, like, maybe this was the being that was calling him over the phone.
Oh, snap.
I mean, think about it. Like, if he told him where his watch was.
This was the same dude?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Maybe it was the same dude.
Yeah. Maybe it was. Dude.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, so he had these encounters. And I think he did have a few more encounters later. And, of course, people would see, like, discs. But he ended up calling this guy a Men in Black.
Okay,
so Ingrid Cold was a Men in Black. So usually people say, oh, Men in Black are government workers that... Or
the movie,
that come over when there's, like, crazy paranormal stuff happening. But he claims that the Men in Black are actually beings from another planet. Which...
I mean, if they're able to, like, understand you.
I mean, which, if you really think about it, if you've heard of the Men in Black, they are awkward men. They
just appear.
They appear out of nowhere. Right. They're pale. They come in, like, an old vehicle. They'll ask some questions. They'll threaten you.
You know what? They always have a purpose, I feel. For coming, there's always, like, a purpose. We're here to do this, like, missions.
We're here to, like, search for this creature. Right?
We're here to... What is this called? A city?
Whatever your little city is. Dang. We're here to pick up Mothman.
Dang.
I don't know. Maybe? I don't know. But that's, I guess, that's what they called, or that's what they feel Men in Black do. Like, they're just another type of being.
That's possible. It's possible.
People would have these sightings for a whole year. So for a whole year, there was hundreds of sightings. I mean, I know that there's been verified a handful, maybe like 20 were verified, but the writer, what's his name? John Keel, he claims that there was hundreds of sightings of the Mothman. So it all came to an abrupt ending. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So, it all came to an ending December 15, 1967. So a year after these sightings.
13 months exactly to the date.
Hey, watch it be on a Friday too. That's crazy.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
That would be weird.
So yeah, it was that day, December.
So it was the morning or the evening of December 15, 1967.
When the Silver Bridge collapsed. Okay, so a little bit about this bridge. It's a suspension bridge. That's its design. and its design life was 39 years, right? So it lasted 39 years until it collapsed by this like whole like prophecy situation, right? So the bridge, it carried through US Route 35 over the Ohio River, connecting to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Gallipolis, Ohio. So, like we mentioned, December 15, 1967, the bridge collapsed under the weight of rush hour traffic, resulting in the deaths of 46 people. So, what happened was that 31 vehicles plunged into the water with 64 people, and 46 of them died. 2 bodies were never recovered. So that's basically what went down, right?
Yes. And so people believe that the Mothman was somehow intertwined with the collapse of the bridge. They think that maybe he was some sort of an omen, or he was trying to warn people, or maybe he wanted people for, this to happen to people. So, I mean, they don't really know. There was nothing really paranormal that happened when the bridge collapsed, but it did, spark thought and rumors that this creature was the one. He was maybe like a dark angel that came and was trying to like take people,
but I mean, if that's kind of what the movie was about, no? Like about the bridge,
that the Mothman pretty much caused the bridge to like collapse.
Yeah. And he was able to save the girl, right?
I mean,
in the movie,
yeah, he saved a girl. The movie, I feel like it has some stories that are not accurate or that are not true, but there was, I think, a person that did have a dream, and she actually told people. I think she told the police that, I saw in my dream that presents were flowing down the Ohio River.
Oh, yes.
And that people were plunged in it. So authorities thought, maybe the power plant is going to explode, so we need to make sure everything is good over there. But the weird thing about it is that I think that was December. So in September, I believe, they had inspected the bridge, because the bridge has like certain times that inspectors come out and they make sure that everything is working properly. So it had been inspected a few months prior to it collapsing, and they said that everything was good, like that it didn't have any defects or anything that they can see, which was weird.
Yeah.
So
but I mean, a little bit back, like, didn't the movie talk about that too, where he would receive phone calls too?
Yeah.
And didn't he tell him the same thing?
About the watch?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why it sounded familiar, man.
Yeah, no, but that actually happened.
That's creepy, dude. Because he would get phone calls like that, remember? I remember, yeah, in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons you want to talk about what do you think, or what like the reason was
situation?
Yeah.
Scientifically, the way that the bridge was built, it had this suspension chain, and I guess it had eye-bar pins. I don't know, man. I'm not a engineer.
Bridgeologist?
Yeah, so I guess one of these eye-bar pins
was defective.
From the suspension chain, yeah. It was defective, yes, and corroded due to weather and maybe worn out through time, which caused it to crack in a way that caused the bridge to break and fall.
Yeah.
So that's like scientific.
So that's the scientific explanation.
Kind of the logical explanation.
So for what happened to the bridge, that's believable.
Yeah. It's possible, right?
Definitely. I mean, I would believe that more than the Mothman causing it.
Yeah.
So, so the Mothman has been, ever since those sightings, all that happening, I guess people started to see him as a warning.
Yeah.
So people say that when he is seen,
it's like
that
a warning.
There's something's gonna happen. A major catastrophic event is gonna happen. So I mean, maybe.
I mean, anything's possible, man. If UFOs are around, right?
I just want to talk a little bit about one of the most recent sightings that I heard. So, I mean, it's a quick one, but I don't even remember. I should have wrote down where he saw it. Somewhere though in the States.
Are you sure you didn't write it down?
No, because I had it in the computer.
Oh.
But so this truck driver, he was unloading, or he was standing next to his truck because it was getting unloaded. So he did a delivery, and he said that he stood next to his truck while they were unloading, and he was smoking a cigarette. As he was smoking, he said that he glanced over to the other side of the road and that he noticed there's a large fence. Fences are like 6 feet high?
At least, no? Yeah.
And so he said that there was a creature standing on the other side of the fence. And he said it was a big black shadow. And that all of a sudden, like, his wings just spread out and he flew off. But I guess Mothman didn't see him. I mean, because obviously it sounds like Mothman, so I'm going to say it's Mothman.
Yeah.
He didn't see the man, but the man saw him, and he said that he looked huge. He was like a tall creature,
Yeah.
all black. So it was pretty creepy. He said he got scared, that he gave him a weird vibe, like that's not. He said that it was demonic, is what he said. I don't know.
I mean, that's scary, bro.
That is scary. I wouldn't want him to see me.
I wouldn't want to see that, man.
I mean, I would duck or something.
I would pray, man. That's
I don't know.
Scary.
But yeah, so I mean, what do you think? What do you think it is, Eileen?
I mean, honestly, I think he's an alien, man.
You think he's an alien?
Yeah. Dude, if he could, like, if we're talking about the same dude, if he could telepathically understand you, man, that's no human.
No, that's Ingrid, though. That's a whole different other guy.
What the heck?
Ingrid Cole is the guy that came out of the spacecraft. Mothman is a whole different other ball game.
I don't know, dude. He don't sound human.
I mean, but he doesn't sound alien either.
I mean, he sounds like Jeepers Creepers, man.
Right? Jeepers Creepers, guys. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
People claim, or scientists say, oh, it's an overgrown bird, like a thunderbird or an owl.
Okay, but why does he look like a man? Like, why does he got 2 legs?
And people say, okay, well, owls, let's say the biggest overgrown owl would be what, 3 feet? 4 feet at the most? But not 7 feet tall.
Yeah, that's way too big. And then why you got wings? You know?
Yeah. I mean, if they claim that he's an owl. I don't know. To me, I believe it because I feel like all these people are seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
At different occasions, and they claim that it looks the exact same way that other people claim. So, wouldn't that be too coincidental to be seeing the same thing?
Yeah.
So I think that maybe it is just a paranormal creature, like a creature that shows up, maybe lives somewhere. I don't know,
like one of them that comes out from like you know what I mean, like from like a little hole or something.
Like Jeepers Creepers?
No, like Skinwalker Ranch type thing.
Oh, like a cave, like a, what is it called? I don't know,
man. Like a dimension or something. I don't know.
It could be a multi-dimensional being too. That's a possibility. Do you think it might be an alien?
I don't know, because why does it come with negativity though? You know what I mean?
I mean, he's never hurt anybody.
Okay,
physically,
but
he scares the crap out of people, but he's never been like trying to. I mean, I honestly don't know why he was following those people in the car.
Yeah,
but I don't know. But he didn't hurt anybody. He hasn't been known to hurt people, other than the bridge collapsing and people dying,
and the poor dog.
Maybe dogs.
I don't know, man.
But this is all hearsay. I mean,
Yeah, but don't people like? I mean, they put up a statue of him, right?
They did. So the town kind of embraced the legend.
Folklore, right? It's a
the,
folklore over there.
yeah, so they did build a statue after the movie came out and the book. And they do have an annual festival of the Mothman, and it brings thousands of visitors every year. So that's a big, I guess it brings in a lot of money to their town. So people kind of like enjoy and they like.
But do you kind of like know what they do at this festival?
Well, I think that they just have like they tales or they show like they have a museum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they have a museum and they show like people dress up as the Mothman and they just, interact. And I mean, I'm pretty sure people just want to go and see the town and see the area and see the TNT plant. So yeah, I would want to go. Wouldn't you want to go?
I don't know.
That'd
I'll probably
cool.
pass on that, man.
No, we should go.
No, I'll probably pass. Do you know if they redid the bridge or?
I think it has been redone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
he sounds scary, man.
I know, but he sounds kind of cool too, though. I mean, I personally wouldn't want to see him.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see him.
Especially not peering through my window at night.
Heck nah.
But just the thought of it is cool.
But like maybe he wasn't that bad of a dude, you know? Maybe he did just come to warn people about stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
So do you think him and the alien sightings are connected in a way?
Yeah. I mean, the alien people, the alien person, he was
cool.
Yeah, he was a pretty chill dude. I mean, he just came through and was like, hey, what's that? You know what I mean? He was just curious. He didn't sound like he was harmed.
I don't know, but they said, I guess, he had like his black trench coat and underneath he had like a glistening outfit.
What?
Like a shiny like fabric underneath.
Dude, I just think of like he's gonna bust out with that little device that erases your memory. You know, like he's just gonna take it out and flash it at you.
Maybe he did. I mean, he's telepathic. He can know what you're thinking anyways.
True. That's true.
But yeah, guys, I guess that's all we have for you today. The Mothman. If you like it, subscribe. And share. And if you have any stories you'd want us to talk about, please let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we'll see you on the next conversation. Bye.
Bye.